Who you with, Kurt, though? I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, though. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Who you with, Kurt? I'm out. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, though. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, though. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, though. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, though. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, though. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, though. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, though. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, though. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome to Speak On It. Welcome to Speak On It. I'm welcome to Speak On It. Welcome to Speak On it. I'm welcome to Speak On It. Welcome to Speak On it. I'm welcome to speak. Welcome to speak. Welcome to speak. I'm 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 welcome to. I'm Who You With, Kurt, dog? Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, dog. I'm Who You With, Kurt, dog. Hopefully everybody had a great day today. I had a pretty good try to get some rest a little bit because I've been exhausted. I've been doing quite a bit. That's why I wasn't here last night. And shout out to Miss Richie. What the hell going on with my microphone tonight? Shout out to Miss Risky last night for texting, checking up on me, talking about, oh, we ain't doing a show tonight. No, I was a little bit tired, been running around all day. Well, tonight, I want to, first of all, I want to welcome everyone on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, Twitter. D Live is in the house. Also, Anchor.fm is in the house as well. Don't forget, you can always subscribe to Anchor.fm. We're on 7 different podcast platforms, and it's just a very low fee of $2.99 a month. So welcome everyone to the show. Like I said before, hopefully y'all had a great day. But we're back in the house tonight live. I know some people may have some comments, but that's cool. But I'm just kind of curious because we discussed this on the show before, talking about when Amber alerts are sent out. We don't hardly get Amber Alerts when it's dealing with black folks. Um, we get it for all of the race, all time of day, night. Um, we get them all the time, which we should. We should. Um, but I feel like it also should be equal across the board. And unfortunately, when it comes down to black missing people, um, we don't get the same attention. This week in the news, we've been seeing all the reports talking about Gabby Petito, which is a young lady that was missing out of Florida, which was later found deceased in Wyoming, and now her boyfriend have gotten up and disappeared. So, with that being said, all this attention, there's a couple of young black folks that is missing, that is not getting that same attention. They've been missing for a while, and hopefully, we as the people can change the way um, that the media portray us, and also hopefully we could get the same attention as other people, because just because a person of color is missing does not mean they're bad person, is gang related, anything like that. Um, So it just all depends. Welcome to the show, all aboard. Thank you for always supporting. Um, it said made the live rep to all those missing and killed. Yes, and Jackson Kramer, thank you for tuning in. I know it's your first time. Please take the opportunity and um, like the show, subscribe to the channel, click the notification, and please share it with your friends because we are live. And but I'm gonna give you a couple of house rules. Main house rules: respect everybody, whether if you in the chat or if you call. And if you decide to call, please do not block your number. I would not answer. That's the house rule. But respect and don't block your number. So uh uh in your comment, I'm not gonna show it. I'm gonna read through some of it because I don't agree with everything you put in your comment. And um so black people shot by police get news attention. White people shot by police don't. White girl goes missing, and the attention is a problem. Um, well, the thing is, the problem is we have a lot of uh, black people that are missing. I seen in one report there's 40% of out of the missing people, 40% are a person of color. No, it's in one report it actually said that there's about uh, out of the 40% of people missing, 13% is person of color. So we don't get the attention. Even when it come down to the Amber Alert here in Texas, we don't get the attention. How we find out about it is by word of mouth. Someone will post it. They'll say, hey, please help share this. My kids are missing, whatever. Now, if it's a carjacking, we'll hear about it on the news, but not no Amber Alert. Um, Even when we hear about it on the news, it'll be like a brief thing. A young child was taken in a carjacking. They were asleep in the back seat, child in danger. That's it. But anybody else, our phones would go off at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning looking for kids. And it's nothing wrong with it. But what I'm saying is it should be equal across the board. It should be equal. Because the thing is, when it come down, when I talk about it being talked about on the news, they not doing a breaking news story. It may be whenever the news come back on. In the morning, we have some station go from, I think it's 4:30 to 9 in the morning. If it happened between that time, that's fine. If it don't, guess what? We'll hear about it at 12 o'clock. Then other than that, if it's after 12, after the news have gone off, we'll hear about it at 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, or 5 o'clock. So it's not a a um, a sense of urgency to get the information out when it come down to people of color. So definitely, hopefully you stick around, Jackson Kramer. Hopefully you do, because maybe you can learn a little something. Because what we're talking about, this is something that goes on quite a bit, not just here in Texas, but it's also worldwide. A lot of black missing people do not get the same attention. We don't. We don't get the same. It's two laws. There's the black law and there's other people laws. And some people don't feel that way, but reality, that's the society that we live in. Unfortunately. All aboard said there's a black man, grad student, been missing 1 month. His car was found in Peru, Illinois. Yes, I believe that's, if I'm not mistaken, is and this may be the same person. I don't know for sure, but it's a lot of them. It's a lot of them. Um, Jeleno Day is one of the people that we're gonna hit on tonight, and also Dr. Daniel Robertson. So now here's another case, another thing. When we talk about Dr. Robertson, they don't mention about his degrees or anything like that. So this is something that we need to focus on. This man went missing. Um, I believe it was out in Arizona, um, Buckeye, Arizona. They found this car. Um, Now he's a uh, he's from College of Charleston. Student press on Daniel Robertson disappeared in Arizona back in June. His case has received renewed interest following the search for Gabby Petito. The Columbia, South Carolina native was last seen on June 23rd leaving a job site in Buckeye, Arizona. Robertson's vehicle was found badly damaged in a ravine several weeks later, according to authority. 3 months later, there's still no sign of the 24-year-old genealogy. A few clues have turned up since then, and his family now has a private investigator looking into the case. I want to believe that somehow in America way my son somehow escaped and he's out there, and the only thing we need to do is find him, said David Robertson, Daniel's father. Um, Let me say that again. David Robertson, Daniel's father, because unlike how the news and media portray us, some kids they grow up in their home, have a relationship with their father. So Robertson said police told him they do not suspect foul play, but said the family private investigator has uncovered evidence that suggests otherwise. He said the black box from his son's vehicle showed there were multiple crashes, and after the initial crash, the Jeep was driven for several miles, and the ignition cranked at least 40 times. That don't sound suspicious? Of course, I'm trying to keep the faith up to this point, and it started to tear at the faith, Robertson said. You start to think all kind of things, especially with the evidence of the shock or vehicle crank after the crash. You know the vehicle been a stage event. It was placed where it was located. Those kind of things would make you think foul play, Robertson said. Robertsonville Buckeye police have given up on the case. He started an online petition urging them to take a closer look, and as of Wednesday, it had more than 16,000 signatures. He said in his he said his heart goes out to Gabby Potato family and hope her story would bring awareness to other missing persons cases around the country and the need for them to be taken serious from the start. Things like this are scary for me as a father, to say, hey, it's been 3 months. What if it's 3 years? That's a problem, and I can't understand why in my particular case, why my son's case, the urgency is not there, he said. He said, if you take a person serious from the beginning and actually do the work, get out there, like in my son case, go put the helicopter up there. Don't wait 3 days later, put a helicopter in the air immediately. Now, the thing is with Daniel, he was reported missing the same day. He was reported missing the same day, but they didn't take it serious enough. Um, then it goes on to say Buckeye police said they worked with several agencies and have searched 70 square miles in an effort to locate Daniel, adding they could continue to explore leads and urge everyone with information to come forward. Daniel Robertson studied geology at the College of Charleston on Wednesday. The school released the following statement. Our hearts go out to Daniel's family and friends as they search for him. For more information surrounding his disappearance, the College of Charleston community is one big family. Um, with alumni around the globe, it apparently that Daniel was proud of his time at a college of COFC and that he was passionate about his career as a genealogy. We, he will continue to keep Daniel and his family in our thoughts and prayers. We urge everyone with information about this disappearance, contact authority immediately. Now, this is only one person, but it's many cases out there where people are going missing and they're not talking about it. It's not being talked about because if the information is given out, it could save a life. Jackson Kramer said, "You're right. Uh, um, Missing people of color don't get the same attention, but why don't why don't hold the media outlet accountable? If Amber Alerts are not equal, I agree that's a problem, and uh, and I agree with you. It is a problem. I have no problem with the Amber Alert system, but it needs to be equal, especially when Daniel Robertson was reported missing the same day after leaving a job site, and his vehicle wasn't found for a couple of weeks. And with that evidence that the private investigator came up with, where it was several crashes, um, the vehicle started, it was cranked more than 40 times after the initial crash. That's a problem. Um, Daniel, eh, please don't have me to block my other person. I appreciate you for coming on, but one thing you're gonna do on my show, you're gonna respect everyone. If you don't, you made the choice to come and listen, and you can also make the choice to bypass us. But coming in with a disrespectful ass comment like that will get you blocked real quick. So so hopefully you we have a clear understanding, and your racist ass comments, this not the day for it, and no other day else, to be honest with you. So um so you could go and move down the station and do something else. um all the boys said missing black children get labeled as runaways more often. Representation and awareness help bring people home. That's why it's important that the cases get covered. Yeah, you're actually absolutely right. Um, all the boys said the thing is, Gabby wasn't even missing. They knew she was dead and exactly who killed her. Yep, they knew who she was last with, how they did a road trip, and then today it come out. Someone said they seen them arguing in a restaurant hours before she came up missing. Stephen, welcome to the show. Thank you for tuning in. Please take the time to like, share, subscribe, and click the notification for whenever we come on live. You can be a part of the show. Stephen just said Black Lives Matter. Yes, it does. It does. But unfortunately,
A lot of people don't respect Black lives, and that's a problem. That's like um, what's going on at Texas border right now. That shows you how people feel about Black lives. Mighty funny how um, when it came down to it, all the immigrants that have came over the border, but as soon as the Haitian came across, we need to deport him right away using whips. Yeah, so Black lives do matter. Welcome to the show, T-Cal. Thank you for always tuning in, supporting the show. Um, Daniel, yeah, we're going to skip over that. It's certain messages I'm going to take time to read because of the comment the wannabe smart ass try to make. And I'm going to just bypass them. Uh, well, thank you, Jackson Kramer. Told Daniel just get out of here because I'm not the only one seeing this. Some people may think I'm just making this up, but Daniel choose to come on here, which is that's his choice. But I'm also finna make a decision too. Let me do this real quick. Bam, he's out of there. So um, don't get me wrong. When go off strip and start talking about somebody, it's because somebody like that. So I, I'm not. I don't have time for it. See, one thing about my followers, and Steven is a new follower. Um, they stand up. They when somebody show up like that, I don't even have to say anything. The followers, they'll take care of it for me. Um, all the boys said I cried real tears for Gabby. It's sad that Black people don't get the same empathy. You're right, but think about it. It's sad to me to hear about a lot of these senseless killing, um, because life is too short. But we have a lot of senseless killing. Gabby killing was senseless. When and I've said many times on the show, I don't watch the news like I used to before, because normally I get up in the morning, cut the news on, pay attention to it, but it's overwhelming when you see all the senseless killing that is going on. Kind of like in Kentucky today, the family that is grieving for the loss of a 16-year-old kid that was at the bus stop and lost his life from somebody shooting. That, to me, that's unnecessary. And that's when I feel that it need to go back to the old days. You see, the old days was when you get into it with somebody, you put a stick on your shoulder, and you tell the person you think you bad, knock it off. It might take somebody on the outside after an hour to knock it off, but if you did have a fight, after the fight was over, you was good. You you lived to see another day. But people are so quick to pick up a gun this day and time, or prefer to kill instead of working things out. Communication go a long ways. Um, Jackson Kramer said, "Is there any missing person, a color case that you have followed that you wish had more media attention?" Um, the last couple of days, I've been seeing a couple of them. One of them is not only Daniel Robertson, but also, oh, excuse me, um, Jalen Day. out of which we're going to talk about his case also. And I've I didn't get a chance to see this other story someone told me about, a young lady that went missing. Yes, that's him. That's another one that I just recently found that I actually heard about his story last night, and I was trying to do more research, but I had such a busy day yesterday. I didn't get a chance to really look into it last night. But yes, I did look into it today. Matter of fact, I believe they said he had just left a dispensary and came up missing. Think car was found like a couple of days later or something, and he been missing for a while. So, matter of fact, I'm trying to get my string closed. Trying to get to the story that I actually pulled up. If I can make sure I have about six strings open on here. If this is your first time listening, we are live, so sometimes we have to pull up things that that comes up on the show. But I actually did pull him up, and uh, his family is hoping that they can actually get more attention since they're reporting on Gabby. Um, and Jalen Day is actually out of Illinois. Went missing on uh, August 24th of this year. So, um, and I'm out of Bloomington, Illinois, which we seen some cases out of Illinois before. We've talked about different cases out of Illinois. So that is one of them that, okay, here it is. It was way down there. I didn't see it. So uh so his mother's hoping that it can get more attention to his case, which it should be, because a lot of time any missing person is not good. I don't know if anybody ever dealt with the issue themselves, not knowing where a loved one or a child is, and the only thing you can do is hope and pray. Um, that's not a good feeling. So, what if the child ran away, missing, whatever? I know back in the early 80s when they talked about the children of Atlanta, and then other young black kids came up missing here in Texas and all across this world, why they was talking about the children of Atlanta, which one of our local news reporter who is still on the news, Clarice Tinsley, every night at 10 o'clock, when they started the news, they will say, it's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your kids are? And that was all because of the children of Atlanta, all the young kids that was killed during that time. And I remember that as a child. Um, so that's definitely something that have always um, stuck to me. Because even back then, yeah, the children of Atlanta, they got a lot of attention, but unfortunately, a lot of kids was killed. Um, so the mother of missing Illinois State University graduate student Jalen Day said the discovery of an unidentified body on September 4th seemed to have brought her son case to a standstill. Since they found that unidentified body, it doesn't seem to me that they are pushing to continue to look for my son, Carmen Bolden Day said of authority. Day was last seen in Bloomington on August 24th. He is still considered a missing person, and the case is being handled by Bloomington Police Department. Bolden Day say it said BPD seen the lack of manpower to devote more than one detective to the investigation. I understand that there are other crimes that they have to investigate, but it seemed like I only have this one detective, and I understand he has a life outside of his work. But once he stops, does that mean we stop looking for my son? Officer John Furman told WGLT that while one BPD detective has been assigned to lead the case, other staff is directed to the case as necessary. At one point during the investigation, five detectives, crime scene detective, and CID supervisor were helping comb through digital evidence, physical evidence, and helping with investigation. Freeman wrote in an email. Bolden Day said she can't help but feel a lack of enthusiasm around her son case. Her frustrations themes in part from delays in identifying the body found in the Illinois River on September the 4th. Bolden Day said state police collected DNA sample from her and other members of the family on September the 6th. Um, but Bolden Day said she been told that the state lab does not have the chemical that is needed to process the DNA. Through a spokesperson, the State Police Division of Forensic Service declined to comment, citing its policy on open cases. The office of the coroner in LaSalle County, where the body was found, said it couldn't answer any question about the status of forensic testing in a state lab. In an email, the LaSalle County coroner said that no identifying characteristic of the body, like race or sex, could be confirmed. But Bolden Day worries that authority assumed the body is that of her son and that the investigation has fallen off as a result. I don't have anything. They're not telling me anything, she said, um, of authority. Uh, I'm sorry, but I see comments coming in. I'm just trying to see. Um, where they abandoned vehicle was recovered in a wooded area on August 26th. I don't know, maybe if it was their child, there would be an urgency on this. They would still be looking. Bolden Day has drawn attention on social media um, and perceived between her son case and that of missing Florida woman Gabby Potato, which reported missing on September 11 after her boyfriend returned to Florida from a road trip without her. The case has garnered national media attention and it's being investigated by multiple law enforcement agencies. So we need to bring more attention to missing people, especially to Black people, because a lot of time they don't represent us right. Uh, Welcome to the show, Askum Togara. Thank you for tuning in. Please take the time to like, share, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification for whenever we come on. So definitely um, continue to watch the show, and thank you for your support. She said you have no representative in the UN, and said Muslim have. Jackson said, I'm reading about Mr. Day now. Very interesting case and hope he is found. Do you know if the FBI is involved in the search? From what I could see, reading in the story, no. It's only um, that particular police department, that is Bloomington Police Department, that is involved in it. And they don't have the manpower, and apparently they don't have the chemical that can pull up the DNA. And And this is what I found out from doing this podcast. Um, we did a show last year with a young lady, um, Lisa Johnson. Uh, Her body was discovered up in Washington area. Um, had her on video at a casino. Then she was found so many miles away, and her family was on the show. And with them being on the show, hearing the pain they gone through, and I know I have always heard Washington State have a high suicide rate. Well, with Lisa, they said her murder was a suicide, but the evidence don't add up. They found the car in a parking garage and had damage to the car, and she was found, I think, like 3 or 4 miles from her car at the bottom of a bridge in a neighborhood she normally would not be in. So, and they just ruled it as a homicide and left it at that. But the family did try to get a private, well, they actually got a private autopsy done, and now that evidence, basically the guy followed whatever the police department said and ruled it as a homicide, even though it didn't look like one. Because as soon as the police came out there, they said it was a homicide, which is sad. Um, but definitely, if you're on YouTube, go back, listen to the family of Lisa Johnson, and listen to that interview. Um, and hopefully, we try to uh, get the case reopened, but then the pandemic hit, and it's really hard to have everybody not working in the office during that time. You are listening to Speak On It with Who You With Kurt Dog. I mean, I'm Who You With Kurt Dog. Want to welcome everyone on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, Twitter. D Live is in the house, and also Anchor.fm. Um, you can always subscribe to Anchor.fm and catch the after shows. Um, the topics that we would discuss strictly on Anchor. So definitely check it out. Um, yeah, but Jackson, to answer your question, bottom line, I didn't see anything about the FBI was helping, but with dealing with the Lisa Johnson case and talking with several people there, the FBI would not get involved in any case unless they have been invited by that department. And that's what I've heard quite a bit. That's what the Johnson family have heard quite a bit also. So that's the issue that we have. If if they're not invited to investigate it, they just don't show up. Uh, uh, Yetning, or I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name right, but thank you for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, click the notification. That is right. They're finding missing people of non-white color, just looking for missing white people. Okay, I'm not okay. Your opinion. Um, uh, that's your opinion. Uh, I can't remember the last time a missing person was as big as the Gabby case. Probably the one that was really big was um I forgot the young lady name. I think they went on a senior trip or something out the country, and she came up missing. I forgot her name. It completely flipped my mind. But I'm sure somebody in the chat will remember that case. Um, Jackson said, "Do you think the blogger YouTube lifestyle van life has anything to do with that?" Um, no, I think it's just the media altogether. That's because, and the reason why I say that, when it come down to the media, um, dealing with certain people, mainly people of color, they're gonna highlight that, and they're gonna highlight the worst part of it. Um, they will say some of the worst things about certain people. That's kind of like if you watch the news and something goes on. Unfortunately, I know in Texas they do it all the time. Um, when they interview certain people, especially people of color, they're gonna find the person that is probably dressed the worst. Unfortunately, probably don't speak the best, and they're not gonna find a educated person to interview. That's not gonna make their news interesting. So I think the media need to change that. They need to be able to be equal across the board. That's kind of like, for instance, here in Texas. Sometimes we hear about more crimes that happen in the minority community, but even in the upper class community, crimes happen. But we don't hardly hear about those, not unless they have something to do with a person of color. So it's a race thing. When you see black folks acting a fool, it's a race thing. You can hear it because when they talk about the protest that is going on, when it's protest going on, they call it a riot. When it's dealing with Black Lives Matter or any type of group like that that is trying to get justice for everybody, but they will call that a riot. Now, when we have the January 6th issues to happen, they call that a mob, a peaceful riot. And the first thing they say between Black Lives Matter, and I explain this quite a bit, everybody who's at those protests is not for the cause. And because they're not for the cause, what happened is you get a couple of bad apples, go out there, break a couple of windows. Then you have people that either don't have anything or they greedy and start taking merchandise. I've always said that's wrong, and a person should be held accountable. If you're going out there for the cause, the real cause of it, go out there and do a peaceful protest. But don't only just protest, also register to vote. That same um, power that you have while you're doing a peaceful protest, have that same energy to go vote every election. Make sure you are registered to vote. If you move, change your voter registration. When you renew your driving license, your ID, renew your voter registration. That's all you have to do. You don't have to do much. Do that. Um, and get out and vote. Because people are laughing. They saying, "Oh, only thing they gonna do is march down the street and protest." But we ain't concerned about them because they not gonna go vote. But we need to have them both line up and go vote. TK said, "I pray that they are found too." Yeah, we definitely pray that they are found. Um, Jackson Kramer said, "Elizabeth Smart." Yes, Elizabeth Smart, which there's still questions about that case because uh, after all of that. Um, and let me make sure I'm thinking about the same case. I believe I am. Um, it's so many missing case that okay, no, no. Elizabeth Smart was the young lady that was I want to say she was um eventually found. This only happened not too long ago when she was found. So I'm thinking of what was the one, the child, the ballerina that was found in her home. Um, and the father, they said for years he was a suspect, but if they have searched that whole entire house and they didn't find her, then all of a sudden she found in the house dead. I don't. It's just something fishy about that. But yeah, Elizabeth Smart, and I did watch that movie they did about her, and um, she's 33 now, married, got married 2012, and have 3 kids. Congratulations, Elizabeth Smart. Oh, excuse me. Um, excuse me. Jackson Kramer said, "Yeah, white girls." I'm trying to think of that case. I want to say it was in Jamaica where um, she went missing for her. I want to say it was her senior class trip. Um, what is uh like I said, we are a live show. Sometime I have to pull up, have to search some things while we're on the show. Um, da, da, da. This one, Natalie Holloway, and they're actually saying that uh, it was in Aruba. It happened in Aruba. It wasn't Jamaica. It was Aruba. Um, and this story came out 2019. Natalie Holloway disappearance remained unsolved nearly 15 years later. It was May 30th, 2015, 2005. The young lady was from Alabama. So, yes, Natalie Holloway is the one I was thinking about. Uh, and I apologize. I'm reading through some comments because we do have a lot of new viewers tonight. And one thing about it, we're gonna be respectful in the chat. And if you decide to call in, you're gonna be respectful. If not, we're gonna terminate your visit. So um uh okay. Um yeah, yet he said people that had life given free to them give everything to their children and they are now older and spoiled, don't need to work. And this Gabby Bryant thing happened sitting there flapping each other. It's a sad situation. Any type of abuse is not good. Uh, equality is all we asking for. T Cal said that. And another thing, the racial from the past, everyone watching their okay. Um, and another thing, the racist group in white robes from the past see everyone watching their racist behavior, so they enter police and government. Yeah, I say it all the time that a lot of people, they put down their robes and their hoods and they picked up suits and robes and uniforms. So yeah, it's a lot of people that are racist, that is leaders in our country. Um, Jackson Kramer said reason protest versus riot, the Portland rioter and J6 rioter should be jailed. Politics and race shouldn't matter when it comes to it doesn't. To me, if you go out here and you destroy someone's property, you should be um held accountable. You should be charged. Now now here's this is what I see in the difference. Um the protest, and when they turn violent, that's a problem. But when you have a leader who promote who actually says we're going to go down there, we're going to march down there and demand them to overturn this election, well, that's a problem, because at the current time you was the president of America, but you're encouraging folks to do this. And then he said, we gonna march down there, but he never showed up. And I feel like any leaders, because there's several leaders that do not want this investigated. Matter of fact, I was reading on a story yesterday that certain companies, I think it was last month, the GOP accidentally sent out an email to certain people telling them do not cooperate with the community that is investigating the January 6th um, terrorist attack, uh, telling them not to investigate it. And if you do uh, release information, we're going to remember this. Because if we win the House back, well, guess what? You're not going to get the tax breaks. Basically, bullying them not to cooperate to give the information, the data that is needed to find everyone that was involved, the text messages, and all of that. They do not want to cooperate. And I would let you know, if any one of those cell phone carriers is my carrier, I'm canceling my contract. Matter of fact, my contract is almost up, but I'm canceling my service with you. So you need to cooperate, because the thing is, this affect everybody. It actually make America weak, because now it open up for more doors for more attacks to happen, and it should never happen. And it never should be a treason by Americans to attack our own government. Yes, they should be held accountable, and the flap on the wrist that they are getting should never happen. They should be held just like a terrorist, just like they were on that day. If you was there, you was a part of the problem. If you crossed that threshold, Capitol Hill, you're part of the problem. Just because it's open, you should know right and wrong. And because you choose wrong, you have to deal with the consequences. And it should not be a flap on the wrist. Um, Down there, security secretly attacking people so not to be exposed as the racists of old. I don't know what you're talking about on that one. Uh, it's sad if you watch a racist person face after they say or hurt someone, you will see true happiness on their face for a few moments. Yeah, a racist only care about themselves. That's it. They only care about themselves. They don't care who they hurt. See, I remember um, when I when I was in elementary school, as we dealt with the children of Atlanta, um, we had two ways we could walk home. One was through cut through this neighborhood, cross the river, go through the woods, get home much quicker, save you about 20 minutes. The other way, we walk up past the Burger King and head back over to Illinois and then head on Sutton Oak Drive or Overton Road, either one of them. Um, but during the time when the Children of Atlanta was going on, the first time I actually seen Klansmen face to face was on my way home. It was a group of us walked because during that time, our parents said, "Hey, y'all need to walk home together in mass." And walking by that Burger King, here's Klansmen at this Burger King with a little campfire. They're in their full robe and hood, just sitting out there. Now, this was in Oak Cliff, Texas. Uh, grew up in Sutton Oaks apartments. So here it is, as we pass by this Burger King going home, the Klansman sitting there. This in the 80s. I'm like, wow. So when I see things, and I think it actually made me a better person because I'm outspoken about a lot of stuff. I don't bite my tongue because some of the things I've seen in life and some of the things I've experienced, I don't have time to play games. I'm gonna say what's on my mind. I'm gonna keep on moving. Long as I'm speaking the truth, either you're gonna accept it or you're not. That's cool. I'm gonna be respectful, but I'm gonna get my point across. So yeah, I really feel that uh, a lot of time when racist folks do things and say things, they'll have a smirk on their face, like they done the best thing in their life. Kind of like what a lot of them said on January 6th. This is the best day of my life. But I must also tell people, you can't go around and do like your ancestor did or anything like that back in the old days. This a new day in time. It's not gonna go that well. So I would just say, hey, treat everybody with respect, the same respect that you want. And that will make this world a much better place. Um, Yeah, I'm starting to like you. Said it's the only way they can start and they can feel happiness. Yeah. And sometimes that's and unfortunately, sometimes people feel so happy about what they've done. And sometimes they may feel so good about it, some of them may feel like it's better than sex. So yeah, it's a mental issue. I know for me, I'm very cautious about what I say and how I say it. But I'm gonna get my point across. But I'm gonna try to do it the best way I know how, for you won't be disrespected. And then sometimes I can say things. I'm like, man, did I say that wrong? That and I could say something. My wife would be like, "No, it was good." I'm like, "No, I don't feel comfortable with it. I felt bad after I said it, but I'm being respectful." Now, if you would have caught me a couple of years ago, I will cuss you out in a heartbeat. Keep on moving, but I've grown. thanks to my pastor, I've grown. So Jackson said it is hard to believe Trump wanted people to march to the Capitol and peacefully protest, but the bad bunch in the group took over like the at the peaceful BLM protest. Come on, you have to consider it. Um, it was some bad people in that group also, but it was a lot that had the intention. I call them brainwashed. Some people say you shouldn't say brainwash. Well, I call it brainwash for the simple fact, unfortunately, people have listened to these conspiracy theory. They don't know when they're hearing the truth until it's too late. That's kind of like it was a young lady on TikTok that said she was part of the QAnon. She was a part of them and believe everything. Felt like on January 6th, the end of the world was going to happen. But then it didn't happen. And she like, wow. So they lied to me that if President Biden became president, it was going to be the end of the world. And she said she almost lost her family because of believing in them in QAnon. So, what I would tell people, think for yourself. Think for yourself. Don't just listen to conspiracy theory because it will brainwash you. Now, was it some that was actually there for the marches? Yeah, it was. Think they was doing the right thing. And I'm talking about just protesting. I'm not talking about breaking into Capitol Hill or anything like that. Because all of them knew that wasn't the right thing. But I'm also a big believer if you do the crime, you should do the time. I don't care who you are. When you do the crime, you should do the time. People that I made it known, um, the way that I feel about things. If I don't care who it is, you do something wrong to me. Well, let me rephrase that. It's two type of people I don't like: liars and thieves. And if you do any one of those to me, I'm gonna cut you off. But if you steal from me, I'm also gonna press charges. I don't care who you are. I don't care. I will press charges. It's none of this about, oh, I'm sorry. No, you wasn't concerned about me when you stole from me. So I'm not gonna be concerned about you when I lock your ass up. Why should I be concerned about you going to jail? You put yourself there. That's all I'm saying. That's with any situation. If you are going out doing things like this, you also must accept your consequences. That's all to it. You do the crime, you do the time. Whatever they give you, that's what it needs to be. Um, so definitely let's bring more awareness to missing people and let it be equal across the board. I don't care what race they are. It's a grieving family out there wondering where they loved one is. Bring more attention. Bring more attention to black missing people because we are the ones that is get overlooked the most. We are the ones that people feel like it's not a American, but we are. We were born here. A lot of people say, "Well, go back to Africa." Well, I never been, but I would love to go because I realize all these years y'all been lying to us about Africa. You only show us the bad things on the TV about Africa. So I would love to go to Africa. Pay for me a round trip ticket. I go, but I need to verify the hotel you're gonna have me staying at though. But yeah, definitely pay for me a round trip ticket. I go. Um, I have to head out, but thank you for your time. Fair point about brainwashing. Quick note: comparing white versus black. Anything tunes people out. Um, there has to be a better way to talk about people of color issue. It is, and it's about having a dialogue. That's why when I come on here, my number one rule is about respect. That's it. If we can have open dialogue, as long as we respect each other, I cannot change your mind about the way you feel. You can't change my mind. But if we have open dialogue, it can make us think about what the other person is saying. And unfortunately, some people don't, they're not open to that. But I appreciate you, Jackson Kramer, for tuning in. Definitely, like I said, like, subscribe, and I will follow you back. And hopefully, you come back again. Tomorrow night, we will have Miss Risky on the show, uh, talking about history and some other things. So definitely come back. Um, Tomorrow night or whenever you have a chance, so catch the reruns of the show. You are listening to Speak On It with Who You With Kurt Dog. I am Who You With Kurt Dog. Tonight we have um, been talking about the cases of some missing black people in America that is not getting the attention as everyone else case would. So we've been having a great conversation with Jackson Kramer, um, then also with Yetney. I'm thinking I'm pronouncing that right. So we've been having great conversation about it, and you could join the conversation also. No matter which platform you're on, you can actually chat live with us. Now, if you're on my personal page, Facebook page, please go over to Speak On It with Who You With Kurt Dog page, and we can actually put your chat up on the stream, just like we have Jackson Kramer. Um, Last comment up. Much respect. Good night, brother. Good night to you too, Jackson. And hopefully you come back again and let us know where you are tuning in at. Whenever you come back, definitely let us know. Everybody is welcome here. We have people from all over that actually participate in the show, uh, listen to the show on a regular basis. So uh, definitely come back. Everybody is welcome. So we talked about those two cases, but um, there's actually more cases besides Jelena Day and also Daniel Robertson. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. Daniel Robertson, um, which is that's only two. But it been many more that have came out, and they hoping that the the situation with Gabby um, would bring highlights to some of these missing cases. As we said in uh, Daniel Robertson case, it w- it took them a while to start searching for him, uh, and Even with Jalen Day, a body been found, but they haven't even checked the DNA yet. They don't have a chemical for it. They haven't called the FBI to invite them to come in and investigate to be able to provide closure for these families, because here it is, they don't know where their loved one is. This may be some other family that is waiting for their loved one, and it could be their body. But if you get the DNA done, do the test, it can bring closure and it can start the healing process. Nobody knows how long it's going to take to heal from this, but it can start. You're causing more pain to that family not doing what you should be doing. Yet he said of African family were the first farmers in southern Canada. Long ago, it was taken away from them, but the gravesite still can be found. That happened in a lot of places, um, where a lot of blacks have owned land and it was actually stolen from them. And unfortunately, even in the slavery days, I know we talk about all the time how um, the mobs will come through the slavery if into the slave neighborhood, killed the fathers, cut their genitals off, or whatever the case may be. Sometimes killed the whole family. Well, guess what? That property is there, and then they basically take it over. Not too long ago, I think it was earlier this year, we reported about out in California. A land was stolen from this black family, and now they're in the process of giving that land back, which I think the land is worth a whole lot more money than what it was back then. Um, so yeah, unfortunately, back then a lot of stuff have a lot of illegal stuff was going on. Um, T Cal gave up the Black Power fist. Hey, I appreciate you, T Cal, because I know these stories like this is it's hard to discuss. It's hard to have an open discussion about it because people see the fact that, like in the title, when I put about um, why black people don't get the same attention, and people get in their feelings. If it was if it was black folks getting the attention and white folks wasn't getting enough attention, I would still ask, hey, why white people not getting the same attention? Because if someone goes missing, our tax dollars pay for the policemen to do their job. They should be doing their job. Unfortunately, in Mr. Day case, they pretty much have stopped working the case. So yeah, that's frustrating. And for the mother, my heart goes out to her for the simple fact that she don't know if that's her child or not. But they have completely stopped investigating this case, and it shouldn't be like that. You should want to work that case until you get closure. And if it is her son case, now we need to start investigating. Okay, why did he end up here? What happened? What was the cause of death? Even in Mr. Robertson case, um, uh, Mr. Robertson case, it actually the fact that they private investigators said, hey, the car was hit multiple times, and they try to crank it over 40 times after the accident. That's a problem. T. Cal said, very hard to discuss, but glad you are willing to discuss the hard stuff. That's what it's all about. getting information out there. Nick Hurst investigates. Uh, Thank you for tuning in. Very first time tuning in. Uh, conti- Please continue to tune in. Subscribe to the channel. Click the notification. Share it with a friend, and we will follow you back. Said minority definitely do not get the same attention, but I think it may be more of a social class issue. Wealthy people um, get away more attention than poor people. Ooh, you said a lot. Mm, Unfortunately, they do. But when our judgment day come and we're at the pearly gates, and as we're standing there, it's not about how much money you have. You can't pay your way into heaven. It's about what you did when you was here. And some people lose interest. Some people forget about that part because it's an old saying that it will be harder for a rich man to get into heaven because he put his money first. So the thing is, you remove that money, remove the fancy cars, houses, and put us side by side, we're still human. It should be a thing where, hey, we need to do it to find closure. There's so many missing people in this world that actually never been found, may never be found. It may it may be 100 years before some people found, or longer. We don't know, but we should be able to do whatever we can while we can, because with technology today, it's so much we could do, but some resources is not available to everybody. Now I don't know what Gabby's status is, her and her family status, but certain people get more respect than others, and that's the problem we have. So I I appreciate it. Um, I know Miss Risky and I have been working on a show to highlight the difference again, because if this is your first time listening to the show, please go to YouTube. We've done shows the difference between black and white laws. We've done shows about the Amber Alert, how people don't we don't get the same attention to it, and that show came about because um, I think like a couple of weeks straight, it was almost every day Amber Alert was coming out about a missing child. But when it was dealing with a black child, we didn't get him. We didn't get him. So that's where it came from. Yet he said, "Oh yeah, money is fun, but living life is more important. With just enough money to get stuff you need, life is short. Can't take lots of money to the grave." Well, you can take it to the grave, but it ain't gonna help you. It definitely won't help you. Um, so I'm like this. I No matter where I go, I treat everybody with respect. Uh, I treat everybody with respect. I feel like that goes a long way, being respectful. That's the way my mom raised me. Respect everyone, even your enemies, but watch them with your good eye, because your enemies. And my wife used to ask me all the time when we first got married. She like, "Why do you deal with that person and you know how they feel about you?" I know what to expect from them. They burnt me once, but they won't get that opportunity again because I'm keeping a good eye on them. They'll never get that opportunity again. So I treat everybody with respect, regardless of who they are. Um, I appreciate it, Nick Hurst. I definitely appreciate, and I'm gonna have to check you out too. And I come over to your page, check you out. Um, yeah, they said working hard all of life take time. Next thing you know, life is over. Yes, you have to enjoy life. Before the pandemic, my wife and I would travel quite a bit. Since the pandemic, we haven't been able to do it. But yeah, you have to enjoy life. You have to take time out for yourself. Um, if you've been, I know most of you haven't been following me that much, but it's been a tough year. Um, this have really been a tough year from this last year. Not talking about just January, but this last year started in, I want to say, October of last year. It's been a tough year for me and my family. Um, so I've always believed, yes, you work hard, do what you have to do to make your living, but also don't work too hard where you don't enjoy life, because you have to enjoy life. Sometimes you got to get away. That's kind of like last night. I wasn't on the show because I was overwhelmed. Uh, From the time I left yesterday morning, I'm going to this appointment, that appointment, that appointment. I was tired. I was exhausted. So I said, you know what? I'll do it tonight. All aboard said, welcome to all the new folks. Most definitely. We are a family. Marcella Smith, who haven't came in yet, but he said this is the people station. For the simple fact, once you come in, you are a part of the family. Everybody have their own opinion. I'm not gonna try to convince you to change your opinion. That's your opinion. Just like I have my opinion. We can agree or disagree. And that's just the way I decided to do my platform. Everybody have their own opinion, and that's all to it. Nick Hurst said, I just started on YouTube recently. I have a passion for helping all missing person. I have to be an asset to helping in cases. I have a background in private investigating work. Okay, we need to connect because um, eh, we'll we'll talk offline soon. Um, my number is strolling across the top. Let me put it up there, and let's let's connect because we're always looking for someone that is doing good. So um, so definitely let's hook up. Maybe we could work on some things together and go from there. But where are you located? Just curious where you're located. Uh, what state are you in? Or what area are you in? Because I'm in the DFW area, Dallas area, and um, and people ask me all the time, how did you get? Why did you want to do podcasts? Well, with the subjects that I talk about, and the reason why I decided to do this, um, my background is trucking. Been in the trucking industry for over 20 years. Own trucks, own a brokerage, all of that. But um, while I was over the road, I used to listen to satellite radio all the time. And um, there was a guy on there, Warren Ballantyne. And listening to him, I heard about a lot of cases that I didn't hear about on the news. And I'm like, wow. Kind of like, if I don't know if you're familiar with the story Fruitville Station. Um, that's the young man, and I forgot his name, but he uh one New Year's Eve, him and this guy changing his life around when it's a big thing in Fruitville, in the part of the California they live in. They go to this park or something and do a big event. But on his way home, he was actually end up killed uh, by a Fruitville, uh, which is the train station police officer. He was in handcuffs on his stomach and shot and killed by that police officer. And it's video out there. They did a movie. The name of the movie is Fruitville Station. Check it out. It's based on a true story, and it's touching. So Warren Ballantyne, I never talked to him, but I give him credit for what he done. And when I decided to do a podcast, I said, you know what, I want to be able to help someone and get information out there, because a lot of people don't talk about a lot of stuff like that. Yeah, I could go out here and I can have a rancid uh podcast talking about this, that, or whatever, but at the same time, that's not fulfilling to me, because a lot of people do that. Yeah, I cuss a little bit. I'm trying to get better. But when we have somebody like David that came on like earlier, mm, eh, I don't fly with it. So um but definitely check out Fruitville Station. And matter of fact, oh, I forgot his name. Um the star of that show, it was like one of his first primetime shows, or first big movie role that he had. One that played um golly, what's his name? Now I gotta pull it up. Um Hold on. Michael B. Jordan. Yeah. It was one of the first movie I seen him in, and he starred in that show. Um, so that's interesting. Um, Nick said, I'm moving to Pensacola, Florida soon, but I currently live in Huntsville, Alabama. Okay, I know a guy. I need to call, check up on him. He's a broker. I want to say he's in Huntsville or Birmingham. I'm not sure. Need to call, check up on him after that storm came through there. Um, Nick said he remembered that story. It's a good movie. It definitely is. And he said it that was an execution. Yes, it was. And that officer, I want to say, um, let me make sure. He didn't get much time. He did not get much time at all. Um, Oscar Grant is the person that was killed. That's who that story is built on. Oscar Grant. Remember the name, Oscar Grant, and it happened in Oakland. Um, and I'm trying to see how much time did that officer get, because he didn't get much time. I think he only got like a couple of years or something. He was charged with second degree murder, voluntary manslaughter, involuntary manslaughter, and a gun enhancement. Uh, let's see. Trying to see how much time did he get, because he did not get much at all. Uh, the Okay, I need to do an update on this because it looked like they reopened the investigation into Oscar Grant killing. This was October the 5th of last year. So I need to do an update on this. And look like as of this year, August 19th, uh, this year, California DOJ to investigate fired officer role in Oscar Grant 2009 killing. So yeah, I'm gonna have to do some more investigation. Killing happened first 2009. So this officer may be facing more charges because I see where they say he actually lied to the officers during the investigation. So, and they're looking at reopening this case. So, um, I would definitely look more into it. Um, Nick Hurst, I appreciate you for tuning in. Said got to run for now, but very nice meeting you, sir. And I look forward to future live chats. I appreciate it. Definitely reach out to me. Shoot me a text at that number. Shoot me a text, and we'll try to set up a time to call each other. Because if I don't know your number, I won't answer. I get a lot of spam calls, but if you shoot me a text and say who you are, then I will respond back to you. So, uh, man, this has been a great show tonight. I appreciate everyone for tuning in. Please take the time, subscribe, whatever channel you're on. Please uh, click the notification for whenever we come live. You can be a part of the show. We will be back live tomorrow with Miss Risky. It's Thursday night. Miss Risky will be in the house, and she's coming strong with some with the history tomorrow, and also we're gonna do some other stories that we've been discussing all week. Um so I appreciate each and every one of you. Um, until tomorrow night, if the good Lord say the same, I love you. And until then, peace.